Welcome to Dragon Stadium. Time for kickoff. The Carroll Dragons of the Byron Nelson Bobcats set to do it tonight on Homecoming 2016. Chuck Kelly, Kelly Milligan, and Travis Smith down on the sideline, ready to get it started. Byron Nelson kicking off, moving from west to east, that is left to right, and the approach by Tanner Keogh, and the right foot into it. And the kick is going to come down to the Dragon 5-yard line, taken by Cade Bell, back middle of the field across the 15 to the 20, and he gets out to the 25-yard line. That's where the Dragons will start. First down and 10 yards to go.
He's out of the 25-yard line.
Our officials are out of the Fort Worth chapter.
Bill Stimmel, referee, North Richland Hills.
Larry Green, umpire, Fort Worth.
Jeff Berry, head linesman, Houston.
Richie McKittrick, line judge, Godley.
Ken Roan, back judge, North Richland Hills.
Mason Holmes is in at quarterback for the Dragons on first down. He quickly swings it out in the left flat to Robert Barnes, breaks a tackle at the 25, turns 30, upfield 40, still running 45 on the left boundary to the 50, and he's into Byron territory, and he's got a first down all the way to the Bobcat 42-yard line. It's a 33-yard pass and run. M.J. Porter on the tackle for the Bobcats.
And that was all Barnes. After the throw out there to the perimeter, he cuts towards the sideline, throws a great hip fake at the defender, and then outraces several Nelson Bobcats into Byron Nelson territory at the 42.
So the Dragons with a first down and 10, 4 across the front. 2 linebackers for Byron to throw a swing pass right side, and the pass is, it's a lateral, so it's not incomplete. It's Davis that picks it up, and he will scamper back toward the 45, but that's well short of the original line of scrimmage. It's a loss of 4 to the 46, so it looked like an incomplete pass, but it was a backwards lateral, so therefore the ball was free. Ben Fowler on the tackle for the Bobcats, so it'll bring up second down and 14.
Davis had just started moving forward, but the ball thrown slightly backwards. Good presence of mind by Davis to get on it and try to advance it, or it could have been a loss of 8 or 10.
Dragons from the 46, second and 14. Snap to Holmes, has time in the pocket, dumps over the middle, caught Barnes, sheds a tackle at the 45, comes right inside the 40 down to the 35, and he's down at the 34-yard line. A gain of 12 yards on the play. Dylan Moya on the tackle for the Byron Nelson Bobcats. We're 50 seconds into this one, no score, but the Dragons are on the march early. Carroll in the black uniform tops over green pants, a very, frankly, strange combination. They've got green numerals, the white headgear, the iconic Dragon symbol on the side for Byron Nelson. White tops over the black pants, black headgear, the blue interlocking BN for Byron Nelson, as they'll give it on first down to Audric Gaines, trying to pick his way through the line, and he finally squirts through it, the 30 to the 25, and he gets down to the 21-yard line. It's a gain of 13 before Moya made the tackle. Kelly, that play looked dead from the start.
Yeah, Gaines keeps trying to find a cutback lane as he goes off to the right side of the offensive line, and as more and more people get upfield, he squirts through one little crease and then turns that into first down yardage. Nice patient run by Gaines.
Jacob Doddridge in the game at an H-back position as they'll give it on the stretch play. Coming left is Gaines, and he didn't get a block, and he got knocked down for a loss of 1. Back at the 22, Matthew Mitchell, the returning starter at the linebacker spot, and Joseph Herrera on the stop for Nelson. And so early on, the Dragons on the move, but they've had a couple of stalls here early, and in that situation, even with the fresh blocking back in, and by the way, we need to talk about this, it is Jacob Doddridge, who's on the defensive line, who is playing that H-back or a blocking back position for the Dragons. They'll go tight into the right, line up a wing that way, and they fake that little inside pitch, instead throw over the middle. They got a man caught down at the 5, and it's into the end zone for the touchdown, 23 yards to Reed Thompson, who makes his first reception of the year, and the Dragons just 2 minutes and 5 seconds into the football game lead it 6-0.
Perfect play action pass. They send Barnes in motion left to right. Holmes takes the snap and then sort of nods the fake of the jet sweep, and that does freeze a couple of the Byron Nelson defenders. But Reed Thompson wide open alone in the middle of the field. That was just easy pitch and catch for Mason Holmes.
Extra point, Brian. The PAT up and good by Cole Ramage, who's missed only once on the season, and we're just getting it started here at Dragon Stadium. Our new score, Carroll 7 and Byron Nelson nothing. 6 plays, 75 yards, taking 205 and a 23-yard catch by Reed Thompson from Mason Holmes, who throws touchdown pass number 11 on the years. Kickoff will go through the back of the end zone from Cole Ramage, and it will be Byron Nelson starting 1st and 10 from its own 25. 1st and 10, Byron from its own 25-yard line. Shotgun snap to Rushi, and he'll throw out in the left flat, and it's incomplete at the 30-yard line. Not even sure who the intended receiver was. Maybe it was Noe Diawaku, the sophomore, but that one just hit into the turf. It'll be 2nd down and 10. 7-0 Dragons on top early as they'll line up the running back, Jordan Joyner, the junior, behind Eli Rushi, the quarterback. Again, Rushi has thrown for 1,912 yards on the year as they line up 3 receivers out to the left. That is the wide short side of the field. 1 receiver comes wide to the right on 2nd down and 10 for the Byron 25-yard line. The Dragons with 3 across the front. As down the line they go, and it will be Joyner handing it off, and he'll get across the 25-yard line out to the 29 as he went basically straight up the middle for 4 yards. Jacob Copeland and Matt Werner on the tackle for the Carroll Dragons.
We talked earlier about the difficulties that Byron Nelson has had running the ball. Joyner, though, has been a bright spot. He played really well against Trinity, a little less difficulty against Louisville, but they're counting on him to carry the load. He's kind of separating himself from the rest of that committee of running backs. His first give of the night, not a bad run. You're just behind the chains on 2nd and 10.
Joyner, Hardy and Mondombo lined up to the near side of the field. That's the right. It is Milliken, Diawaku out to the left of the slot. As again, they line up in the pistol. The running back Joyner behind Rushi, who takes the snap quickly, looks right to throw, and he overthrows his intended receiver at the 40-yard line in front of the Dragon bench. It was intended for Connor Hardy, the junior, and it looks like a 3 and out for Byron Nelson as Robert Barnes and Jacob Copeland were in the coverage.
And you know, very familiar look out of that offense. The first down play, you send 4 receivers on kind of complementary vertical routes. They aim for a guy on a stop. They just throw it behind him. Running play on 2nd down, and then another pass play on 3rd. But Byron Nelson takes about 51 seconds off the clock and gets 4 yards for their trouble.
And Rushi, the quarterback, drops back to kick it away. It's a little bit of a high snap, but he pulls it down, right foot into it. This is a low line drive kick. Ouch, it hit somebody from behind. It hit a Dragon at the 50-yard line. Byron has gotten on top of it. A 22-yard punt, and it was recovered by Diawaku, the sophomore, who it hit off the back. We see of Jake Murphy on the replay as he was going down to block. Murphy didn't even know it was coming, but it was a line drive punt. And
the kicking team recovered. 1st down.
And that's it.
Yep, there's your call.
Just pinballed right off of Murphy, and Nelson gets a break here in the early going. They take back over with 8:56 to go.
Well, the Dragons turn the ball over for the first time in 3 games as it's now 1st and 10 at the Carroll 49-yard line. Dragons up 7-0. We're 3 minutes and change into this one, and Eli Rushi gets a fresh set of downs as they'll line up 2 receivers short side to the left, 2 wide to the right. And in the backfield, it is Jordan Joyner. He lines up behind him out of the pistol. They snap it to Rushi, turns to his right, and he'll hand it off to Joyner, and he will get a couple of yards down to the 47-yard line before he's stopped by Jackson Cantor, 6'3" senior, who's in position for the Dragons.
This Byron Nelson running game is not very complicated, and really with Joyner in there, they tried to keep it simple. He is just a see the crease, hit the crease kind of runner, and that's what you've seen so far. Just a couple of runs between the tackles, nothing fancy or complicated. They're just trying to find him a little sliver, and then he can use that 4.5 speed. The Dragons defended that one very well on 1st down.
2nd down, 8 from the 47-yard line in Carroll territory after the turnover. Rushi, the quarterback, waiting on the shotgun snap. Dragons with 4 across the front. Here they come. Quick pass over the left side, caught near the boundary. It is Connor Hardy inside the Dragon 45, goes to the left sideline right in front of the Byron bench. Down to the 43, gain of 5 on the play. Jake Murphy on the tackle for the Dragons.
Short pass, just a little out route. They're hoping Hardy can create something after the catch, but again, well defended by Carroll's linebacking core and secondary.
3rd down, 4 from the 43. 0 for 1 so far in the game for Byron Nelson, but they got the ball right back after the punt. So they look to the sideline as Rushi to see what the play call is. Now they have co-offensive coordinators. Richard Leonard calls the running plays. Chris Olson calls the passing plays in this Bobcat offense as Rushi drops back into the pistol, takes the snap, and he's going to hand it off to the running back, Joyner, who tries the left side. He'll be stopped right at the line of scrimmage for no gain at the 43. A whole lot of Dragon defenders were there to follow him along, led by Silky, the nose guard, Zachary Simrak, Luke Jeter also there. And now it's 4th down for Byron. Let's see if they'll go for it.
And they don't appear to be, unless he's going to drop back into a deep punting formation. Looks like they're going for it on 4th and 5.
From the 43-yard line, they need to get down to the Dragon 39, actually 4th and 4, as the Dragons look at the Byron Nelson offense, which has 1 receiver split way out wide to the left side. That is Diawaku. They've got the 3 receivers. Short side to the right. Again, they keep joining the backfield behind Ruschi. Takes a high snap. Here comes the pressure off the edge. Ruschi has to throw it quickly over the middle. The post is knocked away and incomplete down at the 20-yard line. It was intended for Diawaku, but Murphy was there for the Dragons. So Jake atones for getting hit in the back with the ball. He didn't even know it was coming. It gave Byron back the ball. The Dragons will have it first down and 10.
So again, Carroll holds them. And this time, instead of a misadventure on the punt, you go for it. It's hard to fumble the punt.
First and 10.
Cloud on updates all night long. Let's check in with Travis.
Well, Mason Holmes, who is working with that lower body injury, his limp is not as pronounced as it was in the second half of last week's game. And talking to the doc, he said he's got really the only limitation he's going to have tonight would be his lateral movement. So as long as he can stay upright, don't take too many big hits, he should be fine to play this game.
I would expect many quick passes throughout the night, left and right for Holmes. He starts a man in motion to the left. They're going to dump it out of the backfield. Robert Barnes, he's in space, catches it at the 40, gets to the 45, and he's bumped out of bounds at the Dragon bench for a short gain of a couple on the play, as the Bobcat tackler was Jared Chamberlain, a junior, from his linebacker position. As they'll hand it off to Audric Gaines, and he comes running left across the 50-yard line and has a first down all the way down to the Byron Nelson 45-yard line. It'll be first down and 10 for the Dragons, 5 minutes into the ball game after a 9-yard pickup. Cover and Allen and Hutchins all in on the stop.
Gaines dragged about half of that Byron Nelson defense with him for the last 5 yards or so of that run. Showed good strength in the early going here.
Carroll will put one receiver to the left. That's the short side. One wide to the right. They line up Doddridge as a wing to the right. They've got two backs in the backfield. This is a formation we've not seen all year long, as they'll hand it. Running play goes to Trey Sledge, who had a big game last week, and he'll get 6 yards. He comes toward the left sidelines and gets inside the 40 down to the 39-yard line before Chance Cover, the sophomore linebacker, makes the stop for the Bobcats. So we see Trey Sledge in the game. 42 carries, 252 yards on the year, 3 touchdowns for Sledge, 5'7" senior.
And really, he has developed in the last several weeks as kind of a complementary weapon in this offense.
Second down and 4, Dragons from the 39-yard line. They will hand it again at Sledge. This time he goes at right tackle, and he has 6 more yards as he'll get the first down inside the 35 down to the 33. Matthew Mitchell on the stop for Byron. We've got 6:17 to go. First quarter, they wave the clock back in motion. 7-0 Dragons on top, and they're on the move once again. Ball marked at the 33, squarely in the middle of the field. We've got the pistol set and the blocking back to the left side. They'll start Bell in motion, set him up closer to the line. Now a little pitch back and a flea flicker, and they throw deep down the left side. It's caught at the 15 by Cade Bell, and he's knocked out of bounds at the Byron Nelson 7-yard line. 26 yards on the pass play. A flea flicker, MJ Porter on the tackle.
That's about as good as play action gets. They motion into a tight, bunched offensive formation that looks like it's going to run the ball, hand the ball off to the running back, who then pitches it back to Mason Holmes. He hits Bell in stride for the nice game. Goal to go.
This time double blockers either side set up his wings, and they'll give it to Gaines, the running back, who will try the left side, and he gets inside the 5-yard line. The line of scoring to the 7. He'll get down to the 4, a gain of 3 as Cover and Lanza, Jack Lanza, the backup nose guard, on the tackle for Byron.
Yeah, Jack Lanza is one of those kids that, according to Travis Pride, he's really, really smart, and everybody on the team and the staff is really nice to him because the suspicion is they're going to be working for him one day.
Second down, goal to go from the 4. Dragons stay with the 2 receivers, 2-wing set. Handed to Gaines up the middle, touchdown. Audric Gaines from 4 yards got a big hole blown right up the middle, and the Dragons, with 5:17 to go in the first quarter, push the lead to 13-0.
So a good mix of meat and potatoes with a little bit of razzle-dazzle there. Carroll running it just like they have done so well here this part of the season, but that little flea flicker was a nice little added wrinkle.
Point after attempt from Cole Ramage on for the PATs. As the kick is up and it's good. We've got a timeout with 5:17 to go opening quarter, and the Dragons on top of the Bobcats early. 14-0 the score. Scoring drive looks like this. 7 plays, 57 yards, taking 2 minutes and 4 seconds. The 4-yard run by Audric Gaines. Touchdown number 12 on the year for Audie. As the Dragons jumping on top by the 2 scores. Byron Nelson, 7 plays offensively in the game, only 10 yards. The Dragons, 13 plays in the game, 132 yards. So Even I, with my limited math skills, can tell you the Dragons are hitting right at 10 yards per snap. It's pretty good.
That is.
They average a little bit over 6, so over that. Kickoff from the right foot of Cole Ramage. That one with a high arc, going to head toward the goalpost, and it will hit in the end zone. Back of the end zone, Wyatt Romer will take it and go to a knee, and that will give Nelson the football at the 25-yard line. Eric Spittler in the game at a linebacker position for the Dragons is on 1st and 10 from the 25. The turn, Rushi, the quarterback, fakes the handoff, and he'll keep it around the left end. He'll get across the 25 out to the 29. Gain of about 4. Jake Murphy on the tackle for the Dragons.
Rushi not really a runner. He can get the yards that are in front of him. He's not a breakaway threat by any means, but every now and then they'll do that with him just to keep people honest. The zone read action, he tries to take it off the left side, but he doesn't really fool anybody. Carroll does a good job keeping it to 2-3 yard game there.
Ryan Thompson back in for the Dragons. Again, he is seeing his first action since week 1 for Carroll. He suffered an injury, but now he's back in the lineup, alternating with Spittler. It's a pretty good 1-2 position there at the Sam linebacker spot. From the 29-yard line, 2nd and 6. Again, zone read fake, and to keep around the left side goes Rushi. First down across the 35, gets to the 40, and near the Byron Nelson bench, he's bumped out of bounds after a 14-yard pickup as he gets all the way out to the 43. Robert Barnes on the tackle for the Dragons. Nifty run there by Rushi.
And that was a pretty good run. He does a nice job getting past that initial tackler coming upfield. Shows good acceleration, too. Barnes, though, put a pretty good lick on him there by the sideline.
Grant Phelps in. John Miskell out. Inside linebacker position for the Dragons. They've got 3 across the front. And the 4 linebackers as the long look to the sideline for Rushi, the quarterback. Looks like they're changing the play at the line as we're down on 4 minutes to go in the first quarter. Carroll on top 14-0. Byron with the ball moving left to right here in the first. 1 receiver left, 3 wide to the right. Snap to Rushi. He'll hand it off. Joyner gets hit right at the line of scrimmage and knocked down for no gain. Ryan Thompson, boy, good to see him back in. You look at the linebackers the Dragons have used this year. Copeland, Werner, Miskell, Spittler, Phelps. I mean, all really good ones, but really Ryan Thompson is the bell cow of this group.
Having him back is going to make a huge difference. And again, you don't have to move defensive linemen back into the linebacking core. You don't have to move the safeties down. If you've got all of those 8 guys there, that just makes every other part of the defense stronger. 2nd
down 10. Byron Nelson from its own 43-yard line. 3:25 and under to go in the first quarter. Again, they go with 4 receiver set. 3 come out to the right side, and they will swing the pass out. Caught to Tyler Milliken in space. Hit after a short gain out to the 45 to the 48. Give him 5 yards before all is said and done. Jacob Copeland and Jackson Cantor on the stop at Milliken, who again had 46 receptions coming into the ball game with the catch there.
Nelson testing underneath. Carroll is only putting 3 guys down, but they have everybody else well back off the line of scrimmage. So Byron Nelson taking what they can get underneath. The running plays, the short little perimeter swing to Milliken.
Byron 0 for 2 on 3rd down tries. Right now it's 3rd down and 5 from the 48-yard line. Bobcat side of midfield. 3 receivers wide to the left, 1 short side right. Joyner lines up behind Rushi, takes the snap quickly, throws to the receiver out here on the right side. It is Mondambo, the senior, who makes the catch. Snaps away from 1 tackler, and he'll have 9 yards of the first down for the Dragon 43. Matt Werner was the one that bumped him out of bounds, but from Mondambo, his 27th catch of the year and a chain mover it is.
An athletic catch and a good job slipping past that Carroll defender to beat the tackle and get first down yardage.
Again, Jordan Joyner, running back for Byron in the backfield. They're without Bryson Davis. He's the guy who has started most of the year, but he's out nursing an injury, at least early in this game. We don't know if we'll see him tonight, but it's been Joyner who's gone the whole way so far. He lines up right behind the quarterback, Rushi, in the pistol. As Rushi off the right side hash plays 1st and 10. The Dragon 43 gets the snap. High ball, throws deep down the right side, and nobody home, because that was a busted route by Mondambo. Sales is in the coverage, but obviously Rushi thought that Mondambo was going to keep going. He did not. Travis Smith.
And again, Zion Sales has got his hands full against another big receiver. Pascal Mondambo, 6'3", 180. Last week had 5 catches for 187 yards. That's over 30 yards a catch. He's the kind of guy that can take it to the end zone at any point on the field.
Pascal Mondambo, you compare him to Mr. Shavers, who we saw a couple of weeks ago. Not quite as tall at 6'3" as the Louisville wideout, who was 6'7", but Mondambo certainly the real deal at that receiver position. As Byron Nelson, with the reset of the play clock, which was already rolling down, our referee Bill Stimmel said, hey, let's move it back to 25 seconds. And that's what they're doing. So a brief stoppage in play down on the sidelines. In fact, now there's a longer stoppage in play. Thought we were just going to set the 25.
Reset
Here we go.
game clock to 1 minute 58 seconds. It will start on the snap.
The clock was down to 1:52. They're going to add 6 seconds to it. And it'll be second down and 10 for Byron Nelson at the Dragon 43-yard line. 1:58 to go, first quarter. Carroll on top, 14-0. Homecoming night 2016. Glad to have you with us this evening. Week 8 of the 10-game regular season schedule. Where has the time gone, Kelly?
It has gone all too quickly.
Again, Byron Nelson, white uniform tops with the black pants, black numerals, blue trim. They've got the black headgear. The blue BN on the side is Rushi back to throw. Heavy pressure. He's hit and he's dropped. He's sacked back at the 45-yard line as the first guy there for the Dragons was John Miskell, who's going to get credit for his first sack of the year. Warner and Doddridge were also in there. And it's going to be third down and 22 after a loss of 12.
Well, you see the replays when the dam broke. All of the black jerseys and green pants just converged at the quarterback. That was like a council meeting.
Third down and 21. As they looked at the sideline, Byron just converted its first third down a moment ago, but they're going to have to go a ways to do it here with 21 yards needed. The line of scrimmage, the Bobcat 45-yard line. They need to get all the way down to the Dragon 34. 2 receivers left, 2 right. Snap it to Rushi, and they may add 5 more yards onto it. It was blown dead before the snap.
Delay of game on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
Third and 21 becomes third and 26.
Yeah, you've got them right where you want them.
Well, we'll see what they can do. Not a whole lot of plays. Normally, you'll see a draw here or a little short pass to the sidelines. Not expecting to pick up 26. But it can happen. They go 2 receivers to the left. That's Biawaku and Milligan. 2 near side, Hardy and Mondombo to the right.
Carroll back in quarters just trying to keep this in front of them, and they're still well before the first down markers.
Yeah, they'll give him 10 or 15 for sure. Here's the snap. Back to Rushi. Here comes the pressure right back to him. He's in trouble, and he's dumped, and the ball came free. And the ball is still free, and it gets out to the 43-yard line. And I guess Byron has it. Well, let's see. What in the world just occurred? Let's check down to Travis Smith.
The ruling on the field is that the quarterback fumbled. It was recovered by the offense. First down.
Well, Bill Stimmel just told us. He just stepped in front of Travis Smith and said, let me explain what happened. Travis, you have a good look down on the sidelines.
So it was a fumble. It was recovered by the Dragons. I think it might have been Jeter that got it. And he started running the wrong way with the football and then got hit. He fumbled it. Then when Byron Nelson gets on top of it, that makes it a first down. So had they just recovered a fumble in general, Chuck, it wouldn't have been first down. But because the Dragons actually recovered it, then fumbled it again, that's what makes it a first down.
See, that's what threw me, Kelly, because Jeter was running the wrong direction.
He was going the wrong way. You saw the green pants
Jim Marshall.
Moving. Yeah, exactly. Just he didn't get quite as far as Jim Marshall. And will not live in ignominy quite like Jim Marshall.
Wow. Ugh. What a strange place of the Dragons. Were their second turnover of the game in the most strange of situations. The first, a punt that hit off one of the defenders who didn't even know it was coming. So 27 seconds, the clock running here in the first quarter. The Dragons on top 14-0. And Byron with the football from its own 43-yard line. 2 receivers left, 2 right. As Rushi, the quarterback, takes the snap, turns to his left, headed to Joyner. Nice move across the 45. It's lifted off his feet now at the 47. In fact, several of the Dragons going to dance with him after a 4-yard gain. Jacob Copeland was in there, had some help along the way, as that'll bring up a second down when the second quarter begins. We are through 1 here in Southlake with the score, the Dragons 14 and Byron Nelson nothing. A timeout here. Dragons on top 14-0 as we go to the second quarter. Chuck Kelly, Kelly Milligan, Travis Smith. Glad you're with us tonight. Homecoming 2016. And again, kind of a weird first quarter, but the Dragons still on top by the 2 touchdowns. And Mason Holmes, the guy who we didn't know if he was going to start tonight, well, he sucks it up and he's out there 4 of 4 for 94 yards and a touchdown in the first quarter. And the Dragons with 132 yards of total offense. Well, we go to work here in the second quarter, and Eli Rushi is going to throw over the middle to Tyler Milligan across the 50 to the 45, but it was incomplete. No, he held on to it. He did hold on. Yeah, down to the 44, so it's going to be a gain good for the first down. Give him 9 yards on the play. I thought that ball squirted away from him, Kelly, but Milligan held on to it.
Just a little stop route there in the middle of the field, and he was juggling it after it arrived, but he secured it before the contact and moves the chains for Byron Nelson.
Jalen Perry now in the game at a running back position. The 5'9", 185-pound senior standing in the pistol behind the quarterback Eli Rushi. It is 1st and 10 from the Dragon 44-yard line. 3 receivers to the left, 1 right. Snap to Rushi. Here comes the pressure. Ducks away from it. Puts his head down up the middle to get inside the 45, down to the 43. Gain of a yard on the play. So that'll bring up a 3rd down and long as Jacob Copeland and Zachary Simrak on the tackle for the Dragons.
Rushi looking to the left for Milligan, just didn't have him open, saw the pressure coming and decided to try and do something with it and extend the play with his feet. Didn't work so well.
Ryan Miller in the game, the defensive front for the Dragons, so he switches from center over to nose guard as it's 2nd down and 9 at the 43-yard line. Byron trying to get something going. Dragons with a 2-score lead early, 10:45 to go in the first half as a snap to Rushi, and the right-hander throws over to the sidelines and separated from the football at the 33 was Pascal Mondambo, who thought he was going to haul that one in, but Zion Sales came in and laid the lumber to him, and that'll be an incomplete pass and bring up a 3rd down and 9 here for Byron Nelson.
And he timed the big hit perfectly. He arrived right as the ball did and just brought the lumber. That's one that'll rattle your bicuspids, kids.
1 for 4 on 3rd down tries are the Byron Nelson Bobcats, who again go from west to east. That is right to left as we look at it. The Dragons in the green over black with the white headgear. Byron Nelson with the white over black with the black headgear. And this is a big 3rd down for them early. They need 9 yards, need to get down to the 34. Here's the snap to Rushi. Here comes pressure as they set up the screen. It's knocked down, and it was almost intercepted. At the 50-yard line, Jacob Doddridge is floating around and saw that ball come his way, and he batted it down. It's the right thing to do. Incomplete pass. It'll bring up 4th and 9.
That was like a Garo Yepremian throw, too, right there. I mean, there was nobody going to catch that ball. Doddridge gets his mitts on it and very nearly had a pick in the return, but instead it is a punt. Carroll getting the ball back.
So 4th down and 9.
Nope, it looks like they're keeping the offense out there.
Yep, they do, but remember, he can punt. Rushi is the punter, so even though he's on the quarterback position, we'll see what they elect to do. It looks like the standard offense. They set up 2 receivers left and 2 right. Dragons don't send anybody back, so they expect him to go for it, and they do, and Rushi will throw over the right side. It's caught at the 40-yard line, and at the 39, Connor Hardy is out of bounds. It's 4 yards. Matter of fact, I think they ruled that incomplete, and they did, and they're going to mark that one back to the original line of scrimmage, and the Dragons will have it 1st and 10 at the 43. So on 1st and 10, a little swing pass out in the flat to Johansson. He'll tuck it down right inside the 50, 45, 40 down the boundary, and he will be tackled, in fact, thrown head over heels at the 30-yard line, but he'll certainly take that as a 29-yard pass and run from Mason Holmes to Jack Johansson. Matthew Mitchell on the tackle for Byron Nelson.
Kind of a little look-off crawfish route. Holmes looking to his left, then hits Johansson running that little crawfish route off to the right. I couldn't see who it was, but there was an heroic block at about the 45, 47-yard line. Johansson squirts through that little crease and gets down into Byron Nelson territory.
Flag at the start of the play, so Holmes is looking to throw, but they're going to blow this one dead. Timeout call by the Dragons will break with them. 10:05 to go, first half with the score. Carroll 14, Byron Nelson nothing. 10:05 to go, Dragons needed to call timeout. They have a 14-0 lead, and they've got the football at the Byron Nelson 29-yard line, beg your pardon, as they'll snap it to Holmes, and he's going to throw deep on the right side to the corner of the end zone, and the pass was knocked away right at the pylon. It was intended for Robert Barnes. Wyatt Romer, the sophomore, is back in the coverage. First incompletion of the game for Mason Holmes. It'll bring up 2nd down and 10.
Romer does a nice job on that one. He's back there pretty much step for step with Barnes, gets his hands tangled up as the ball arrives. Ball thrown pretty nicely, but Barnes also having to backpedal it on it. So 2nd and 10. Start again.
Ball marked Off the right side hash from the 29. Two-back set. Snap to Holmes. Hands it to Gaines. Big running room as he turns left inside the 25. Down to the 20. Gets to the 10. There is a marker down on the play. It's 19 yards that the play stands. But let's check the flag as M.J. Porter was
holding
the one
on the offense, number 64. 10-yard penalty. Still second down.
Porter was on the tackle, but it doesn't matter because he's going to be coming back, and the Dragons will be whistled for a 10-yard infraction.
It was just too pretty the way that hole opened up on the left side. Gaines hit it with authority, but you saw the flag, you saw the direction from whence it came, you sort of knew what you were looking at.
14-0, Carroll on top as they move it back to the 33-yard line. And Carroll, again, looking for a 7-game winning streak tonight on homecoming 2016. Trying to keep this offense going with Mason Holmes, the senior quarterback, who again was nursing a leg injury after last week's win over at Marcus. But now it looks like he's certainly good enough to run the offense. I tell you what, 3 days ago, I think a lot of people expecting sophomore Will Bowers to get the start tonight. But instead, Holmes has gone the whole way and looked fairly decent along the way. It's 2nd down and 14 from the 33. Holmes, one receiver left, one right. H-back to the right. Here's a play fake. He's going to throw one-on-one toward the end zone. Has a man. It is incomplete. Intended for Robert Barnes as Dylan Moya, the junior quarterback, went back and made a nice defensive play. And Barnes couldn't pull that one in. It'll bring up a 3rd down now.
Nice play action by Holmes. Throws a very nice ball. Barnes has about a step on Moya, and it hits him in the hands. That's one Barnes is going to see when he looks at the film that he probably should have had.
Dragons are 1 for 1 on 3rd down tries. 3rd down and 14 now from the Byron Nelson 33-yard line. Dragons on the year converting 43% of 3rd downs. Here's Holmes, throws right side, caught at the 15 and out of bounds with the 1st down is Cade Bell. That is his 23rd reception on the year, 18 yards and a 1st down for the Dragons. Romer and Porter got him out of bounds.
Deep curl. Bell has sort of inside position as he makes his turn back towards his quarterback. Ball thrown perfectly.
Well, the Dragons again have been mixing their offensive formations now as they got a 1st down and 10 at the Byron Nelson 15-yard line. They play off the right side hash, 2 backs in the backfield, play fake, quarterback Holmes all day to throw. Now here comes the pressure. He's got to get rid of it, heaves it toward the end zone, and it's incomplete. He had to throw it away for Barnes. Moya back in the coverage, but he had heavy pressure coming and had to get rid of it. It looked like Tristan Allen was one that was coming in there, had some help from one of his teammates.
Well, and Holmes had plenty of time. I mean, he had time for like a sandwich and a Mishner novel, but eventually he did have to unload. Blockers could only hold it for so long, so he just throws that one away. Discretion being the better part of valor. He lives to fight another down.
2nd down, 10 from the 15-yard line. Again, 2 backs, Gaines and Johansson either side of Holmes, who takes the snap, puts it in the belly of Gaines, and he gets hit as he goes at left tackle for maybe a half a yard. Officially no gain at the 15. Sophomore Chance covered middle linebacker on the tackle for Byron. So now Dragons looking at a 3rd down and long.
Cover is just an amazing story. Kid that started the year at JV. That position wasn't playing fast enough, according to Travis Pride, so they brought cover up, and he has developed as a sophomore into the best player on that entire defense, leading the team with 72 tackles, and he showed great range on that play.
Here's the snap to Holmes, and they're going to run an end around to Barnes with running room to the 15, turns outside to the 10 as he runs left, and he gets cut out from under him as the ball popped free also at the 10-yard line. And let's see who's come up with it. There's also a flag down on the play, so an end around to Barnes. I think he got the football back. It'll be a gain of 5, but it all depends what this flag is as to whether the Dragons will be looking at a 4th down here. As it was Ben Fowler, the junior field safety, who came up and put the hit on Barnes that ended that play, knocked him to the ground rather rudely, and the officials are still conferring. Now we're about to hear from
Fowler
Mr.
does a
Stimmel.
nice job fighting off of his block to make that play.
I say we're about to hear from him. I think we are right now.
We had 2 fouls on the offense. Illegal formation, 5 in the backfield. Holding. Both of those penalties are declined. 4th down.
Well, they say no thanks after all of that. So we're going to take it down to the 11-yard line. Yep, that's where they put it down. So again, a 4 on that last play. And it'll be field goal time as Cole Ramage comes on. He's perfect on the year, 4 of 4. Of course, he has a Carroll school record 55-yarder. But this will be a 28-yard attempt off the left side hash to try to increase it to a 17-point lead. The holder is Will Bowers, right-footed soccer-style kicker. is Cole Ramage. Good pass from center. Ball on the tee. The kick is up, and it is good. 8:05 to go here in the first half. We've got timeout with the score. Carroll 17 and Byron Nelson nothing. Kickoff fielded deep in the end zone and returning it back out. Wyatt Romer, as he comes left across the 10 to the 15, gets out into the 17-yard line before Eric Spidler makes the tackle for the Dragons, and that's where Byron Nelson will have the football. First down and 10 yards to go. First down and 10. Byron Nelson from its own 18-yard line, trailing 17-0, is Jalen Perry in the backfield alongside the quarterback Eli Rushi, who takes the snap, turns to his right, almost lost the football, popped back into his hands, and he'll run straight ahead across the 20, out to the 25, and he gets to the 27-yard line. As Rushi on the gain of 8, John Miskell on the tackle for the Dragons.
Looked like maybe he wasn't sure if he was handing it off or not. When he made the decision to cut it upfield and run, he ran with authority. Shows good strength. Freshman
Let me start over again. Freshman R.J. Mickens is now in the game at a cornerback position for the Dragons. Mickens missed last week's game with injury. Good to see him back in there. Second out and 2 from the 27 as Byron with the football, with three receivers now lined up to the left, line up one short side to the right. Go out of the pistol once again as Rushi looks over to the sidelines, and now play is called as Byron Nelson ran out of time and they use a timeout.
Timeout, Byron Nelson.
We'll break it here. 7:16 to go until halftime. Dragons 17 and the Bobcats nothing. Byron about to use all the time and elected instead to use the first timeout as it's second out and 2 from the Bobcat 27-yard line. At a jump in the defensive front is a snap to Rushi, and he throws out on the left side, and on his bottom, catch is made by Deviante Stiegel, the sophomore, who makes his fourth catch of the year for 9 yards. And
that's
I guess
the first
Kelly,
one he's made from a seated position.
Yeah, that was from the prone position there, wasn't it?
That's called a sit route, I think.
Offsides on the defense, number 44. That's declined. First down.
Well, they were going to get a first down either way because the Dragons were offside, but they declined the penalty as it's marked out to the 36-yard line. And with 7:10 to go here in the second quarter, they'll put the clock back in motion. And Byron with a fresh set of downs. First down and 10 as they'll set up two receivers short side to the left. That's Diawaku and Milliken. Hardy and Mondambo line up wide to the right. The Dragons have 4 across the front, 2 linebackers. They cheat up that extra backer. It's Copeland. Perry in the backfield alongside Rushu. Takes the shotgun snap, throws over the middle, and he dunks that one intended for Milliken right around the 50-yard line, but he threw it at his feet as Murphy was trailing in the coverage.
Milliken on a little seam route along the left hash mark, turns in and looks for the ball, but it was thrown short.
So second down and 10. They'll set it back to the 36-yard line. Dragons next week will be on the road. Pennington Field in Bedford against LD Bell, then back home against Hebron to wrap up the regular season 2 weeks from tonight, and the playoffs get started. Kelly, right around the corner, buddy.
We're already talking about the postseason.
It's that time. Second down and 10 from the 36. 2 receivers left, 2 right. Snap to Rushi. Puts it in the belly of the running back, Perry, but he has nowhere to go. He does manage to struggle and get maybe a half a yard back of the 4 that he was going to lose. So second down and 10 becomes third down and 14 as Eric Spidler, the strong side linebacker, is on the tackle for the Dragons.
Yeah, somebody gets Perry with the by the ankle. He looked like he was trying to find a contact lens crawling forward when the Dragons converged on him. So third and long.
1 of 5 on third down conversions are the Byron Nelson Bobcats. First appearance here at Dragon Stadium as these nearby neighbors going at it in district play. First time they've ever been in the same district as they are right now in 5-6A. Here's the snap to Rushi. Here comes the pressure off the edge. He's going to throw deep down the middle of the field. It's incomplete down to the Dragon 30, looking for Diawaku, the sophomore, and the freshman Mickens was on. How about that, Kelly? You got a couple of guys who probably could barely drive, if at all, going at it on this near side. The pass falls incomplete.
And both of them running at pretty much full motor. The ball thrown basically into double coverage. You've got Mickens back there running stride for stride with Diawaku, and then help over from center field. ball falls harmlessly away, and Carroll looking to get it back. But Travis Pride hates to punt, so here you are in 4th and 14, and you're still not sure what he's going to do.
Well, Ruschi, the quarterback, drops back in a short punt formation, gets a high snap, puts away a terrible kick. Good night. That one hits down at the Dragon 40, carries over to the sidelines. He'll go out of bounds at the 35, and it's a 31-yard punt. 5:49 to go in the first half. The Dragons on top 17-0, about to get the football back. First and 10, Andrew Audric Gaines goes around left at the 40, 45, 50, down the boundary with room to the 40, 35, 30, and he's finally down to the Byron Nelson 27-yard line. There's also a marker down as Ben Fowler made the tackle. It's a 36-yard run if it stands. But let's check this flag, as it looks like it could be coming back against the Dragons at least a little bit of the way.
Watching the replay, I'm not sure what, if anything, it'll be.
Holding on the offense, number 49, 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Yardage gained is enough for a first down.
Well, if you don't know, Kelly, you just wait until Bill Stimmel, the referee, tells you.
As he did.
So we'll give him a partial gain on the play down to the Byron Nelson 40 and then mark it back 10 yards. Ned Pearson, our statistician, will tell us it's a 13-yard gain, and the penalty will bring it back to the 50-yard line. They play just at the top of the Texas logo at the 50, as they'll give it again to Gaines, and this time he has much shorter yardage. In fact, he doesn't even make it back to the line of scrimmage, stopped at the Dragon 49, as covered the sophomore middle linebacker on the stop for Byron. 5:15 to go. First half, Dragons on top by 17.
And as the Dragons have done throughout the year, they've looked remarkably crisp and efficient on several possessions, but looking maybe just a little stuck in the mud on this one.
2nd and 11 from the 49. Deep handoff Gaines, trying to find his way up the middle. He goes 45-40, has the first down. Still up the middle to the 35, to the 30, and he's down to the 28. It's a 23-yard run by Audie Gaines, as it was Josh Stokes and Ben Fowler who finally got him. And Kelly, he didn't zig, he didn't zag, he just kept going straight up the gut and got more yardage.
That's like the first running play they teach you in 3rd grade flag football. T-dive right on one. He just goes straight through that A-gap, keeps his feet moving, and picks up nice yardage for the Dragons.
First down and 10 at the 28. As Carroll trying to increase the 17-point lead on the move. Shotgun snap to Mason Holmes. Looks over on the right side. Can't find a receiver. Now checks down left. Here comes trouble from behind, and he gets hit, and he gets dropped. The ball popped free at the end of the play. But let's see if they ruled him down, or did the Dragons get on top of it? I guess that's what it is. So they'll get the yardage, as Brett Poitras was the one that came from behind and hit Holmes, who I don't think he knew it was coming. Turns out to be a gain of 6, though.
Well, and if you see the way Mason Holmes takes off as he realizes he's got to run, that's where you get the sense that he's not 100%. He's looked pretty good back there standing in the pocket, but he does not have full mobility tonight.
2nd down 10 for the Dragons. 2nd down 4, beg your pardon, from the 22-yard line. Snapping to Holmes, looks over on the right side, waits for a receiver to come open, and it's caught down at the 15. And inside, Cade Bell goes to the 10-yard line. So that's a gain of 12 on the play, as Hunter Hutchins and Ben Fowler on the tackle for the Bobcats.
Yeah, that secondary for Byron Nelson is pretty effective. A lot of young guys that are all kind of interchangeable in terms of size and skill sets. But one thing they can all do is they can hit. They converged on Bell and brought a little lumber there.
Jack Johansson lines up in the backfield to the right of Holmes, who looks to the sideline to see if they're going to change the play. And it looks like they're going to, it looks like they may stick with what they got. First down and goal to go for the 9-yard line. And the flag flies at the start of the play. They blow it dead. And we will get the call from down on the field as they report it.
False start, offense number 72. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
3rd penalty of the game against Carroll for 25 yards. That will take it from the 9 back to the 14. Here's Holmes, hit as he had heavy pressure coming on 1st and goal from the 14. It was Matthew Mitchell who was looking for his first sack. The big senior come barreling in on Holmes, made him get rid of the football, and the pass was incomplete.
Yeah, somebody got a mid on that one, and it fluttered away. So Carroll now looking at a little bit of a behind schedule situation here. Red zone, I mean, they should be able to come away with points here.
3:08 to go here until halftime. 17-0 Carroll up. It's 2nd down and goal from the 14. Snapping to Holmes, handed off. Look at Gaines, has a hole at the 10 to the 5 into the end zone. Touchdown Dragons. Audie Gaines with his second score of the night, 13th touchdown of the year. The Dragons tack on 6 more, and it's now 23-0.
And making that even more impressive is it looks like the snap was mishandled. Mason Holmes has to pick that ball up off the turf before putting it in Gaines' midsection. He makes a nice little cut back to the right after he gets through the initial wave of tacklers and skates into the end zone.
Cole Ramage on for the PAT out of the hold of Will Bowers. Well, that was a bad snap, but Bowers did a good job to get it on the tee, and the kick is up and good.
Out of the hold of Bowers. 24, Bobcats 0.
Dragons meeting on the scoreboard 24-0 over Byron Nelson. 3:02 to go in the first half. 8 plays, 63 yards, taking 2 minutes and 47 seconds as Audie Gaines, the 14-yard touchdown run. He now has 10 carries on the night for 77 yards and a couple of touchdowns. And the Dragons, again, moving well over the 114 rival. 24-zip. The Sewell Cadillac of Grapevine kickoff from Cole Ramage puts the right foot into it and boosts it out, well, at least 6 yards deep in the end zone, where Wyatt Romer said, we'll take the touchback and we will go from here.
Cats ball come out to the 25. They'll take over their 1st and 10.
First down and 10 from the 25-yard line. We've got 3:02 to go. That is on 1st and 10, a play fake and a pass over the middle intended for Milliken. It was deflected and incomplete as Murphy was in the coverage for the Dragons. They'll bring up 2nd down and 10.
Ball thrown in a dangerous spot, tipped by the receiver. Possible candidate for an interception there. Don't be careless with the passing game.
Pretty good crowd here on homecoming night on the near side of Dragon Stadium here on the north side where all the chairback seats are. Byron Nelson bringing a decent crowd from Trophy Club. Probably couldn't get through the traffic and the congestion. There was a problem on 114. We'll get into that later. 2nd down and 10 from the 25 is rolling to throw the quarterback Rushi, and he throws it off the hands of Milligan over on the near sideline. Milligan couldn't hold up, get the football as Murphy and Werner, both in the coverage for the Dragons, will bring up 3rd down and 10.
No relation, folks. And yes, throwing on the run, kind of rolling to his left, run pass option. Tries to hit Milligan on an out route. 1 of 6 now on 3rd down, and they're 3rd and 10. Tough situation for this Bobcat offense.
2:52 to go until halftime. Dragons up 24-0 as it's 3rd down and 10 from the 25-yard line. They'll line up 2 receivers left, 2 right. Dragons with 4 across the front. See if they blitz, if they play back. No, it'll be a 4-man rush. Here is Rushi throwing over on the right side, and the pass is caught by Diawaku, the sophomore, and he'll get 11 yards. And the first down as he got all the way out to the 36 before R.J. Mickens made the tackle. So a good conversion there for Byron Nelson. They've got a first down.
And Mickens does a nice job trying to drive him back. You know they're going to give him forward progress, but that was a good heads-up play for a young defender.
First down and 10 from the 36. Not 1st and 36, as it says on the scoreboard.
They do need to get that correct. There we go.
They've got it now. Clock running down, 2:25 to go until halftime. From the 36, here's the snap to Rushi. Turns to his right. Play is blown dead before they started. Let's see what this is about. Probably a false start coming up against Byron.
False start, offense number 66. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
First down and 15 now for Byron from the 31-yard line. 1 receiver left, 3 to the right. Snap to Rushi, going to throw over the right side, and the pass is caught out at the 45-yard line by Mondombo as he tried to turn and pivot and spin at that point, but he'll be brought down at the 43.5. It's a gain of 13. Jacob Copeland and Zion Sales on the tackle for the Dragons.
Mondombo just going vertical along the sideline and then kind of slanting in. Ball delivered right in front of two covermen for the Dragons.
Jordan Joyner back in the game at the running back position for Byron as Eli Rushi, the quarterback, sends Pascal Mondambo out to the right side. They'll send 3 receivers to the near side, Dewaku, Milliken, and Hardy, and they'll dump it out. A little screen pass. Caught Milliken looking for a block at the 45. Gets out to the Byron Nelson 48-yard line, maybe the 49. Give him 5 yards on the play. R.J. Mickens on the stop. Clock is resting with 1:34 to go until halftime. The Dragons on top, 24-0.
Carroll back a little bit in coverage. Milliken, the middle guy, on trips to the left side. They throw it to him and use the other 2 receivers as blockers. Sometimes that's a big play for this offense, but well defended by Carroll. As it is, it's enough to move the chains, but Byron Nelson still in their territory at their 48 with 1:34 to go.
First down and 10 from the 48. Dragons with 3 across the front. 4 linebackers. Snapping to Rushi. Fakes the handoff. Ball popped out of his hands like a jumping bean, but he managed to hold on to it. It's a loss of 2 on the play. Copeland and Miskell get credited with a tackle. They've got a sideline report.
46-yard line by Jacob.
Here's Travis.
And that's the 3rd time that Ruche has tried to pull the ball out of the running back's belly and almost fumbled it. 3 times he's had a miscommunication with his tailback. They're going to give one up tonight, guys.
2nd down and 12. The ball at the Byron Nelson 46-yard line. Again, the Feed Store Barbecue halftime report coming up at the intermission. Sure, stick around for that. Good conclusion of the Dragon Who Makes a Difference. If you enjoyed it last week, you'll love this one. Here's the snap to Rushi. Going to throw deep downfield. Passes caught in stride of the Dragon. 25 to the 20 to the 15 to the 10. 5 touchdown. 54 yards on the pass and run from Eli Rushi to Pascal Mondambo. And the senior gets his first TD of the year. And Byron is on the board. It's now 24-6.
Well covered, but that ball was well thrown. Almost into double coverage. I can't tell who the uniform members. Hard to tell who it was who was breaking in on the ball. He plays for the pick, but Mondambo is bigger and just gets his hands on it, and then he's in stride. It's an easy touchdown from there.
Looked like it was the corners. Sales and Murphy are trying to bracket the receiver, but Mondambo gets it into the end zone, and the PAT. Keogh with a high snap. The ball is popped over on the right side as the ball is deflected in the kick, and it is going to be just a simple no conversion, so no big deal. Jacob Dodgers is the one that got his hand on it, and that will send us to break with 49 seconds to go until the intermission. Rishi 9 for 19, 1 touchdown in the game, but that was a nifty pass and run there. Kickoff fielded by Jack Johansson will bring it up the numbers across the 15 to the 20 and out to the 22-yard line.
Jack Johansson on the return for the Dragons.
First down and 10 from the 22-yard line. 2 receivers left and right. Mason Holmes, the quarterback, takes the shotgun snap, has all kinds of time to throw, and he'll dump it out in the flat, and it's caught. Robert Barnes breaks a tackle at the 25. It'll be bumped out of bounds out around the 26.5-yard line. Give him 5 yards on the play as Chance Cover, the sophomore, credited with the stop.
And as this half has gone on, Byron Nelson's defense creeping closer to the line of scrimmage. They usually will play a couple of guys back, but they are closer and closer to the action. Might be time to take a shot deep here late in the half, see what you can do.
Well, not enough time now, really, as they rolled it down to 12 seconds to go, as Holmes is going to throw over the right side, and the pass is caught out at the 38-yard line by Clayton Keys, but it'll immediately be tackled at that point. Gain of 12 yards on the play, just 5 seconds left in the first half.
South Lake.
And the Dragons are going to use timeout for some reason, but I don't think they're going to throw a ball 60 yards here and get a touchdown. But, hey, I don't want to be the one that tries to discourage them, so we'll see what happens. Well, 5 seconds to go until halftime. First and 10, Dragons from the 38 out of the timeout. They're going to have 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Snap it to Holmes. Going to air it out deep over the middle. And the pass is incomplete at the 45 in Byron Nelson territory. And that's the end of the first half. He was looking for Jackson Davis, and the first half comes to an end. Through 2 quarters, it is Carroll 24 and Byron Nelson 6. Kickoff, it's squibbed out of the middle of the field, picked up at the 3-yard line by Wyatt Romer, brings it back up the hash across the 15 and out near the 20, and it'll be stopped right there, maybe even the 21-yard line, and that's where Byron Nelson will have it first down and 10 yards to go. Byron Nelson offense about to come out and start it here. First down and 10. They marked it at the 22-yard line. Again, 63 degrees at kickoff. Cool, crisp night in South Lake for week number 8 of the season. 2 more games to go at Bell next week, then Hebron at home in the regular season. We'll have the curtain come down, and we'll be looking at the playoffs. As on first and 10 from the 22. 2 receivers left and right. Eli Rushi, the quarterback, where Byron Nelson takes the snap, turns to his left, and he hands it off to Joyner, and he will bang right ahead across the 25 out to the 26 for a gain of 4. The Dragon defense has Jacob Copeland and Matt Werner credited with that tackle. Now, Kelly, after that big, long homecoming halftime show, and the had the inductees before the game into the Hall of Honor, several throughout the Carroll Athletic program, including Chase Wasson, son of head coach Hal Wasson, Mike Ulrich from that 1988 state championship team. This guy's being inducted as far as several others. It's a pass on 2nd and 6, deflected right over the middle. It's incomplete. It was Werner who got a hand on it there, so bring up a 3rd down and 6. So a whole lot of festivities there at halftime, and it almost seems like the air's got to come out of the fan balloon here as we try to get started here in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, that little frisson of excitement you get during the first half on homecoming night is kind of gone. You're hoping the Dragon defense can maybe make a play here, get this crowd back into the game here in the early going.
3rd down and 6 from the 26. 2 of 7 on 3rd down tries are the Bobcats, and they'll do a little look-in pass on the left side across the 30-yard line. It's caught by Diawaku, and he is knocked down right at the line that he needed for the first down, and they say move the chains as Jake Murphy was in the coverage, but a pass from Eli Rushi to Noe Diawaku, the sophomore, who came into the game with 7 catches, and that's good for the first down as they'll mark it out to the 33-yard line. So Byron with the 1st and 10, 1 receiver short side left, 3 to the right. Dragons 3 across the front as they'll start the handoff. And at the mesh point is Joyner, who is met right behind the line of scrimmage. In fact, all the way back at the 31, Luke Jeter, who's had a good game tonight, came in and popped him down. So it'll bring up 2nd down and long. Yeah, that was like a Godzilla movie, and Luke Jeter was just converging on Tokyo. He blew that play up single-handedly. He was right there at the point of the handoff. Which one of you do you want me to tackle? 10:25 and now under in the 3rd quarter. Dragons on top 24-6. That's from the 30-yard line. Dragons again with 3 defensive linemen. One up 3 wide set to the right, 1 to the left. No throw to the single receiver side, and the pass is floated. It's intercepted at the 48-yard line, picked off in front of the Dragon bench, and the man who came up with it was Jake Murphy. And for the senior for the Dragons, that is his 3rd interception of the year, a team high. That pass was intended for Milliken, but man, it floated, Kelly. It did float. INT for the Dragons. Well, the Dragons will start 1st and 10 with golden field position at the Byron Nelson 48-yard line. 2-back set with Holmes, and he'll sling it out in the left flat, caught by Barnes, and immediately he's knocked off his feet. Great defensive play by Ben Fowler, who came up and dropped him for a loss of 3 at the Dragon 49-yard line. Yeah, Fowler has actually been quietly impressive tonight for this Byron Nelson defense. The junior is one of those kids that plays those interchangeable safety positions. He's down low. He's the low safety and usually going to play in run support, so he naturally is going to range down and make the hit after that little perimeter pass. 2nd down and 13 for the Dragon 49. Snap it to quarterback Holmes, and he'll hand it to Gaines, and he tries to dance right, and he gets knocked down for another loss. 2 yards further back to the 47. First guy there was Hunter Hutchins, who was outside a linebacker spot. Chase Cover, the sophomore, was also there. A couple of underclassmen for Byron Nelson, pushing back. Dragons have lost 5 on the first 2 downs. It's 3rd and 15. Yeah, so you talk about the energy in Dragon Stadium. It almost seems to be affecting the Dragon offense. They're not looking real crisp here on these first 2 snaps of the 3rd quarter. Barnes short side to the right, 3 receivers wide to the left on 3rd and 15. The snap to Holmes, pressure, but he has time, throws over the middle, and the pass is incomplete at the Byron 40-yard line. Dragon fans wanted the flag thrown as it was Jackson Davis who was the intended receiver, but MJ Porter was the one that came up and made the defensive play. We'll get a look at the replay right here, Kelly, and the Dragon fans were looking for some kind of contact. Let's check down to the field. An injury update brought to you by Dust Famous Wings. Here's Travis.
Well, this seems like the same old story, guys, but Cade Bell tweaked his knee. Remember, he injured his knee earlier this season on a kickoff return team. He is not going to play the second half. He's on the sideline with crutches.
High snap goes over the head of the punter, Ramage, and it goes all the way back inside the 20-yard line, inside the 10. Ramage picks it up, gets the kick away, and it will get across the 50, and a great Dragon roll to the 40, to the 30, still going to the 29-yard line, and it will be killed there. And Cole Ramage, who is going to follow in this lineage of great Dragon kickers, just made the play that any kicker or punter would say, yeah, That's what we do. What a play by Cole Ramage. Yeah. Byron Nelson will start from its own 29-yard line. Eli Rushi, the quarterback. 2 receivers short side left, 2 wide to the right. Dragons with 3 across the front showing blitz, and here they come. Here's the pass over the right side. It's incomplete, intended over there for Pascal Mondumbo as Sales is in the coverage. But the Dragons had one of those corners, or one of the linebackers, I should say, that was coming in a hurry and made Rushi get rid of it.
Yeah, Rushi looked like he was throwing under duress, and he definitely didn't put that where he wanted to. Mondumbo had a couple of steps of open, but ball nowhere near him.
Mondumbo and Hardy to the right side. Diowaku and Milliken lining up short side to the right. Milliken in the slot. Dragons have done a good job of keeping him in check. 2nd down and 10 from the 29. Snap it to the quarterback. Rushi fires it out right side. Caught. Mondumbo has it across the 30. Goes to the sideline near the Byron Nelson bench. He'll have 6 yards before he's bumped out around the 34 by Barrett Buck.
Yeah, and on that play, Byron Nelson has a complimentary receiver out wide to the right, serves as the blocker after Mondumbo makes the catch, kind of a little crawfish route. Carroll with 2 high safeties just come downhill to stop the play, but Mondumbo, rangy, able to get a few yards and make a more manageable 3rd and 5.
Bobcats are 3 for 8 on 3rd down conversion attempts. They need 5 yards here from the Byron Nelson 34-yard line. 24-6, Dragons on top early in the 3rd quarter. 3 receivers wide left, 1 short side right. Snap to Rushi, going to throw to the 1 receiver side. The pass incomplete across the 50, intended for Mondumbo as he was covered by Zion Sales. They worked him one-on-one, and Sales did a good job to force the incompletion.
And, you know, given that they didn't make the call on the previous possession when Porter was all over Jackson Davis, there was really no way they could call that, but I think it was timed pretty well. So 2 3-and-outs on successive possessions.
Well, Rushi, the quarterback, who transports back into punt formation, will stand back at the 24-yard line. Robert Barnes, the safety, is standing back to return this kick for the Dragons as Rushi puts the foot into it against a low line drive, and Barnes lets it go as it will go inside the 30, gets inside the 20, and all the way down to the 15 to the 14-yard line is where it will roll dead. That is a 52-yard punt. The Dragons will take over there. 1st down and 10 yards to go. Dragon football is brought to you by Cole Holmes at Waterstone Mortgage. Folks, if you have a closing coming up, there's only one guy to use. That's Cole Holmes at Waterstone Mortgage. He's the South Lake resident, and he knows how to get you into your next home. Cole, with the knowledge and expertise to wade through all that red tape of the mortgage headaches, and he can make your closing a snap. See Cole online at accordingtocole.com. You can also, once all that is said and done, finish out the deal with Amy Torres-Leff at Alamo Title, the Mannheim firm. Amy's a Dragon mom, a proud member of the South Lake community, and she knows the kind of service that you're looking for with your title needs. Demand to have the best. Amy. On 1st and 10, Dragons for the 14-yard line. Here's a little swing pass. Looked like a lateral to Robert Barnes, and he gets dropped back inside the 10-yard line near the 8. That's a loss of 6 as Fowler, who's been a busy dude for the Bobcats tonight on that tackle.
Yeah, the objective behind that play, get the ball to Barnes in space. He can do a lot of things if he gets the ball in the open. But it looked like it might have been a lateral, and either way, very well played by Byron Nelson, ranging over to the sideline.
Barnes will line up in the backfield. They'll hand it to him, running play, and he just slipped down back at the 5-yard line. That's a loss of 3 yards. They sent him back there into pistol formation. He was the deep back, and he just slipped down, and he is still down at the 5. Uh-oh. He takes off his headgear and throws it away. And this may not be good news for the Dragons, as it looks like that Robert Barnes is kind of twisted up down on the field. And again, folks, this does not look good, as they have called across the way for, it looks like, the medical attendants to come on. And this could be absolutely a season-changing moment. Yes, they are. It could be a season-changing moment here for the Carroll Dragons. A pall has just set over Dragons Stadium here on Homecoming 2016, as on a very innocent-looking running play, Robert Barnes, the Dragons all-star safety slash receiver slash whatever you want him to be, has just suffered what appears to be a serious leg injury. He's been put in an air cast, has been helped off to the field house. I'm sure he'll be going to medical look here shortly. He's handed to Johansson on the first down across the 20, gets to the 30, still turning to the 40, and gets to midfield, and he'll be down after a 45-yard burst from the 5 to the 50. A 45-yard run for Jack Johansson, as it was Porter and Moya on the tackle. So the game must go on, Kelly, and that's quite a run there by Jack Johansson.
The acceleration he showed was pretty impressive. We hadn't always seen that from him, but he just found a really nice sliver and turned on the Jets.
This time they'll hand it to him going around the left end. He turns it inside the 50, the line of scrimmage, going left to the 45-yard line. A gain of 6 on the plays. They'll give him the 44 as Chance Cover, the sophomore, beg your pardon. The middle linebacker was the one on the stop for Byron. So, again, Kelly, you don't want to dwell on that injury, but, that was the one guy that the Dragons, it's an understatement to say you can't lose Robert Barnes. And it looks like that's maybe what they're looking at, is they're going to hand it off to Johansson. He'll slip through a hole over on the left side for a gain of 3 down to the 41.
And Carroll just now pounding it into the front of that Byron Nelson defense. And, you talk about next Dragon up. Nobody knows exactly what we're dealing with here, how long he may be out of service. But, this is where every Dragon needs to step up. If he's not going to be out there on the field, the rest of that team have all got to raise their game.
Yeah, absolutely they do. But he was the bell cow, the leader. 3rd and 1 as they'll hand it off to Audric Gaines, and he gets hit behind the line of scrimmage and dropped at the 43-yard line. It's a loss of 2. Matthew Mitchell was the first guy there. Then came Cover, the middle linebacker. And that'll bring up 4th down and about 3.5, maybe 4 yards to go, and the Dragons have a decision to make.
Well, I got to tell you, when Byron Nelson knows Carroll is going to run the ball, they do a very good job coming downhill, getting upfield, and blowing these plays up in the backfield. You've seen 3 negative plays on this possession, and they know Carroll's not likely going to throw. They just want to run clock. So Cover comes ranging downfield. The big sophomore, 6'2", 200, laying a lick on Audie Gaines. It was well defended.
Cole Ramage on to punt. Will hit this one from his own 45-yard line. He's pinned 11 inside the 20 this year. This one checks up at the 5-yard line, rolls to the 2, and will be killed at that point. A 42-yard punt, touchdown by Hayden Hayes, and Nelson will have it way back. Byron Nelson deep in its own end. 5:07 to go here in the 3rd quarter. 5:07 to go 3rd quarter. Dragons on top 24-6. The Byron Nelson offense coming out to start from its own 3-yard line. Again, the Dragons have lost Robert Barnes, their starting strong safety, who was injured. Rather grotesque injury back around the Dragon 5-yard line on a running play just a moment ago. Again, he put an air cast on his leg and took him to the locker room. So let's see if we find out anything as we move along. Here is the quarterback. Ruschi takes the snap, throws over to the left side. It's incomplete. It was intended for Tyler Milliken. Dragons a couple of defenders in the area. It'll be 2nd and 10. 5:02 to go here, 3rd quarter.
So Byron Nelson continuing to try to go to their go-to guy, Tyler Milliken, the all-district inside receiver. Just problems with the connection. They're only 3 for 18 tonight for Milliken. 3 catches for 18 yards.
Jake Murphy's moved into that safety position for the Dragons. They'll throw the pass near side, caught. That is Milliken working against R.J. Mickens, and you'll have a 1st down out across the 15-yard line. He'll take it all the way out near the 17. That'll be a gain of 11. Actually, say he went down to 14. Beg your pardon. So 1st and 10 at the 14. We're down to 4:50 to go in the 3rd quarter. The Dragons on top 24-6.
Little slant route in, and then he reverses field back to the sideline to get the necessary yardage for the 1st down.
1 receiver, short side left, 3 wide to the right. Ruschi, the quarterback, takes the snap, turns to his right, hands it off. This is Joyner. We'll get a couple of yards from the 14 to the 16.
Handoff goes to Jordan Joyner.
Clock running now, 4:20 under in the 3rd. And again, Kelly, you can literally feel the way the air has been sucked out of Dragon Stadium.
It was not exactly an energetic location to begin with after the long halftime adjacency, as you mentioned. But then to come out, Carroll offense not looking good on either of its first 2 possessions. And yes, to have that happen to your all-everything player, there's just not a lot of excitement here.
Here's Ruschi to throw, goes deep on the left side. A nice leaping catch made at the boundary at the 34-yard line of the Dragon bench by Tyler Milliken. It's a gain of 18 on the play. If it stands, there is a penalty marker down as Mickens and Spindler were over in the coverage. Let's see what this flag is about. Reporting it down below to Bill Stimmel, our referee.
Illegal formation on the offense. More than 5 in the backfield. 5-yard penalty. Repeats it down. Second.
So that'll mark them back 5 yards instead of the first down. They'll have to march back. And again, if you're Byron, you're just trying to get something going. You're down by 18. You still have time. 3:57 to go in the third quarter, but you got to get forward momentum, and you lose a first down and get 5 yards before there for the illegal formation for not enough men in the backfield. It's going to hurt you.
And conversely, if you're the Carroll Dragons at this point in the game, you probably need to get your back up and get a little irritated. This one is not yet out of reach for the visitors, and you're operating shorthanded. You probably need to make a statement and quell the insurrection, as it were.
Hayden Hayes in the game at the quarterback position, replacing Murphy, who went to safety as they snap it to Ruschi. They'll tuck it down, misses one tackle, misses two, spins outside left toward the boundary, gets to the 20, gets out to the 22-yard line. It's a gain of 11 on the play. Jake Murphy was in a bumped him out, but a nice run there by Eli Ruschi, the quarterback.
And a really nice block by Milliken, kind of at the midpoint of that run. He seals off a Carroll linebacker. I think it was Matt Werner who was in a position to make the tackle, but Milliken allowed his quarterback to scoot through for another 3 or 4 yards.
Third down and 2. So a manageable third down try. 3 of 9 on third downs on the night for Byron Nelson. The Dragons 4 across the front. As the quarterback takes the snap, Ruschi will turn and hand it to Joyner. They got no push up front, and he is knocked down for a loss of a yard on the play by John Miskell of the Dragon defense. And that'll bring up fourth down. And Byron, although needing points, surely will have to kick this away, one would think.
Yeah, that play really never had a chance. And again, part of the difficulty that Byron Nelson has had running the ball this year is the offensive line. It's been called a merry-go-round or a mess. They have had shifts and new people in positions every week. And it's really hard to sustain the momentum you need to get a good, solid ground game going on a consistent basis when you've got that kind of a revolving door.
They can't roll the dice on 4th and 3 from their own 21. Ruschi gets away a short kick, hits out at the 50-yard line, and running away from it from the Dragons was R.J. Mickens, and it will take a right turn and go out of bounds. Winds up being a 36-yard punt, and Carroll will have it. Beg your pardon. Yep, they'll do it at the 43-yard line is where they're going to put it, and it will be first down for the Dragons at that point.
Gaines, the ball carrier.
On 1st and 10 from the 43, it's a handoff to Gaines, and we're getting a pickup of about 4 out to the 47 before Stokes and Mitchell come out on the tackle for Byron Nelson.
You know, Carroll, having tried to run the ball east and west a lot at various points in the evening, hadn't had much luck doing it. They just pounded straight at him.
Dragons will pitch it. Gaines running room right down the boundary, has room 50, 45, 40, down to the 30, still churning to the Byron 20, and it'll be tackled at the 19-yard line. A gain of 34 yards for Audie Gaines as Mitchell was on the tackle. Gaines continuing to pile up the yards in this game as he has been quite the machine so far this year. Again, over the century mark. That's the 5th time so far this season. 15 carries, 110 yards. The Dragons are going to send Will Bowers in the game, and the sophomore is going to take in here with 2 running backs in the backfield, and it's Sledge who breaks a tackle at the 15 to the 10, and he's into the end zone. Touchdown, Trey Sledge. There's also an injured Byron Nelson player down back at the 20-yard line. They'll attend to him, but the Dragons have tacked on 6 more points as the senior Sledge comes up with his 4th TD of the year. It is the Byron Nelson training staff that it's their turn to come out and take a look at an injured player. It looks like, oh my, it's Matthew Mitchell, the linebacker that they're taking a look at. And man, it's one thing that Byron could not afford was any more injuries. They'd already lost a star receiver, Mitchell. Springs up, and although he is walking under his own power, he's certainly have to go for some repairs to the sideline. So we've got 2:09 to go in the third quarter, and the Dragons trying to tack on the extra point here, try to make it a 25-point game as Mitchell makes it now to the boundary. PAT up and no good by Cole Ramage.
What?
For the second time this year. Ramage missed it. This one to the left, it looks like. And the score will remain. With 2:08 remaining in the third quarter, the Dragons 30 and the Bobcats 6. Kickoff goes into the end zone, fielded on a knee by Wyatt Romer, and the Dragons will have it. Well, beg your pardon, the Bobcats will have it first down and 10 for their own 25-yard line. Hunter Meacham is in the game at quarterback now. The junior, big fella at 6'3", 215, replaces Eli Rushi. And he'll line up 4 receivers out to the right, 1 to the left, and snap it to Meacham. And he'll throw to set up a little screen on the right side, and it is dropped at the 20-yard line, and they called an incomplete pass as Diawaku was the intended receiver, and that was almost a lateral. They ruled it incomplete.
I would call that a lateral. And I would also call Hunter Meacham a pretty impressive physical specimen, 6'3", 215, as you mentioned. And in talking with Travis Pride earlier in the week, that was one of the things that he was really impressed with, is just the physical stature of his junior quarterback. A little bit of scheme deficiency. He's got a ways to go to learn this offense, which is a little more complicated than what he grew up in. But he's got the inside track on the quarterback job last year. Nice ball, throws good athletic ability. It'll be fun to watch him here.
Or next year. Second down and 10 from the 25-yard line.
That's what I meant.
Meacham tucks it down, puts it in the crook of his left arm, comes left at the 25, gets out to the 28, 29-yard line, as it was Zachary Simrak who got him down low. Gain of about 3.5 yards on the play.
Nice long stride. He sees the pocket collapse. He's got nobody open. He just picks it up and runs. Does a nice job picking his spot.
Byron Nelson, 3 of 10 on third down tries as Eli Rushi checks back into the game at quarterback. Rushi conferring with running back Jalen Perry, who will line up behind him in the pistol formation. One receiver, short side to the left, 3 wide to the right. The Dragons with 3 across the front. Sneaking up a linebacker. Here they come off the edge. Blitz coming. Rushi tucks it down. Pocket is totally collapsed. He's hit and he's dropped back at the 30-yard line. Although he gets a yard, Ryan Thompson was the one that made the tackle, and it was Rushi running for his life, and finally Thompson brought him down. It'll be punt time for Byron Nelson.
Thompson hit him low, and then Simrak comes in to finish it off. So good gang group effort there, setting up the fourth down.
So again, Rushi will have to kick this one away. He stands about, well, he was 10 yards back. Now comes up toward the line of scrimmage and says something. Down to 40 seconds to go in the third quarter. Gets the snap, puts the foot into it. This kick goes straight up and straight down, as it will hit out near the 50-yard line. And let's see where they're going to put it down. I'm going to say at the Dragon 49-yard line. It'll be a 22-yard punt, and Carroll will have it 32 seconds to go here in quarter number 3. First down and 10 from the 48. Dragons with Will Bowers at quarterback with a play fake. Bootleg rolls to his left, throws upfield, incomplete down at the 41-yard line, intended for Royce Weigel, the senior. They'll bring up second down and 10. So Will Bowers in the game for the Dragons, and really a 30-6 game, Kelly. I don't think we're going to see any more of Mason Holmes.
Probably not, and really no need. This is a good time to get some reps for Bowers. He's a sophomore. The word is that he knows this offense as well as any extra or upperclassman that the Dragon staff has had. He really has studied it, and he knows what he's doing out there. More in a minute.
Second down and 10 from the 48. Tucks the ball down, runs left at the 45. First down to the 40, and all the way down to the 39. Gain of 14 on the play and a first down.
Well, perfect segue for what was going to come next. They like his ability to run and extend plays with his feet. You saw there how he just took off. Probably a designed run, quarterback draw, but he saw an opening up the middle. He hit it quickly. I mean, he's faster than Mason Holmes, and he showed you his speed and acceleration there. But he's had a whole year to prepare behind Holmes, and this is an opportunity for him to shine.
First and 10 at the 39. They'll hand it to Sledge, and he will bang down inside the 35 to the 34. Gain of 5 on the play, on the final play of the third quarter. Back for the fourth, it's the Dragons 30 and the Bobcats 6. Final 12 of regulation on the board. We go to the fourth quarter. The Dragons on top of Byron Nelson 36. Chuck Kelly, Kelly Milligan there at Dragon Stadium. And again, if you're just tuning in, the Dragons have lost their all-star strong safety and receiver Robert Barnes, who suffered a rather gruesome leg injury. They're in the third quarter on a running play near the Carroll goal line, so let's get some kind of prognosis on that later in the game, hopefully. As on 2nd and 5, they'll hand it off to Trey Sledge, and he will get a couple of yards down to the 32 before Hardy and Poitras on the tackle.
Now, Chuck, I wanted to make one point about the first play that we saw Will Bowers run here on this position. It was a pass play. It's a little play-action fake to Gaines. He then rolls as a bootleg left. What you saw is one receiver open in front of him, but coverage converging. He reads his progression in reverse, sees his guy at the second level. He doesn't complete the pass, but it was a smart play.
3rd down and 3 from the 32-yard line. They give it to Sledge, and he gets hit right at the line of scrimmage. No gain. First guy to get him was the sophomore cover from his linebacker spot. Mitchell also in there. So the Dragons with 4th down and decision time here. Well, tonight, a lot of Dragon Hall of Honor members added to the fold. One of those that we mentioned is the son of the head coach, Hal Wasson, former Dragon Chase Wasson, who's on the Dragon State Championship team, the first one back in the 2000s. He joins us from down to the sidelines right now. Chase, thanks for the time, man. That had to be really fun.
Oh, it was a great honor. Glad to be here. Brought back a lot of good memories, and yeah, definitely proud to keep watching these guys carry on the tradition.
4th and 4 from the 33. They're going to give it to Sledge, and he runs right, and he's got the first down inside the 30 down to the 28. Gain of 5. Mitchell on the tackle, but a nice run there by Sledge, and the Dragons move the chains.
Hard to believe, probably, that it's been 14 years since you were patrolling this sideline as the Dragons quarterback. Does it seem like it's been that long, or has it been like a snap of the finger for you?
That picture on the Jumbotron, I think I've aged a little bit.
On 1st and 10 from the 28-yard line, snapping to Bowers, throws deep, has a man in the end zone, and the pass is caught. It's a touchdown as Royce Weigel went out and got that one, and Will Bowers with a touchdown strike, his first as a Dragon to Weigel, again his first of the year, and the Dragons now lead it 36-6.
Ball thrown a little long. Weigel kind of stretches out to get it, but nice touch on the ball by Bowers. That was a nice combination for the touchdown, and Carroll is really kind of quickly putting this one away.
Point after attempt here for the Dragons. And, of course, Cole Ramage splits the uprights, and the kick is good. Well, don't go away, Chase. We'll be right back with you. Short break. Dragons lead at 37-6. Carroll now up to 376 yards. Total yards on the night compared to 173 for Byron, and Carroll about to kick it away. We're joined by Chase Wasson, one of the new Hall of Honor inductees at Carroll Senior High down on the field. So Chase, for Dragon fans tuning in, what are you up to these days?
Well, I've outkicked my coverage with a beautiful wife and blessed with a 14-month-old little man, so they definitely keep me busy. And in the biotech pharmaceutical world, working for AstraZeneca is my day job.
Kickoff fielded a yard deep in the end zone, and it will be 1st and 10 after the touchback at the 25. Yeah, I saw your lovely bride and your little boy. What was his name again?
Cal.
Cal, that's right. I knew it was something really easy. Yeah, Cal was loving it up with Grandpa before the game. Man, I thought maybe Hal wasn't going to coach the game. He's so in love with that grandson. You could see it right before the contest.
That's right. He's trying to get him used to this venue so that in about 15 years he's next man up.
Wow. Well, 1st and 10 for Byron at the 25-yard line, visiting with Chase Wasson, son of head coach Hal Wasson. Now on the sidelines, Nick Santini is now in at quarterback for Byron Nelson, and the right-hander will fire a pass out on the left side. It's incomplete at the 30, intended for Deowaku. That'll bring up 2nd down and 10. Well, Chase, take us back to your time here at Carroll. What was like your top memory? I know there's a lot of the state championship, but what are the things that, like Kelly said, 14 years later, you look back and say, man, that was really great?
You know, just surrounded by a lot of great teammates, great friends, built a lot of relationships, and, you know, to play in this venue and to go through the battles that we went through. I think probably the proudest moment and biggest stage I think we played on was against Lufkin, defending state champs, and went through a lot of adversity that game. And, you know, everybody on the team made impact. So those are some fond memories and a lot of lasting friendships.
On second and 10, beg your pardon, no gain on the play as Santini knocked down at the 25-yard line. Eric Spindler and John Miskell on the tackle, so to bring up third down and 10 for Byron. Again, third quarterback of the game, Eli Rushi, the starter. We saw Hunter Meacham for a series, and now Santini in, third quarterback of the night, as he's got 3 receivers out to the left, 1 short side to the right. And the Dragons defense setting up 4 across the front as they snap to Santini with a play fake. Pressure off the edge, tucks it down, tries to get away, but he is tackled. Might have lost the football at the end of the play, but they ruled he was down. It's going to go for a loss of 2. Zachary Simrak on the tackle for the Dragons. Well, take us back to that game in 02. And that's when the Dragons went 16-0 and won their first state championship in 5A. You were talking about the Lufkin game. That was the state semifinal. That was at Waco, and I'm going to confess, I wasn't there. I was actually working another game that day, but I heard all about it. That was an unbelievable game, wasn't it?
Well, it's the first time in pregame warm-up, probably still at South Lake, where typically you don't wear pads in warm-ups, and the coaches said, guys, put on pads so these guys can't see how small you are. It was, men amongst boys, but we found a way to get it done.
Who did they have on that game? I'm trying to remember. They had who was the great? I'm trying to remember.
They had a handful of guys. Jaworski Lane. I think they had 7 or 8 Division I guys coming back from the state championship team prior.
Absolutely. Was that in the Reggie McNeil days? Was that the same time?
It was the year after he graduated.
The year after, okay. Well, Carroll was down in that game, correct?
Yeah, we were down 16 with about 8 minutes to go in the game.
That's right. And you came back. Okay, that's right. The memories coming back. For the Dragon fans that were there, they're like, oh, that was one of the great ones. By the way, a 6-yard punt just a moment ago. The Dragons going to take over at the 30-yard line in Byron Nelson territory. And Will Bowers, the quarterback, takes the shotgun snap, hands it to Gaines up the middle. He has 5, he has 10, runs over a tackler at the 17 and has 14 yards down to the 16. Audie Gaines adding more to his rushing totals. Then after that, Chase won the state championship over Smithson Valley 45-14. Was that almost anticlimactic after that Lufkin game, after all the greatness of the semifinal?
Well, the price of poker definitely went down when we saw what was across from us in the state title game. But, yeah, it was full-bore execution, great game plan, and just a lot of fun for us as seniors to go out. And, I'm fortunate to still live in this area to continue to watch these guys. And it's, the faces change, but the mentality and the culture of this place continues to live on.
And you've obviously seen a lot of great football played. You've had the pleasure of being alongside your dad as he's coached Carroll to another state championship. With all the great Carroll teams that have come since that first state championship in 2002, do you get a little extra special burst of pride knowing you were the first one to get him a title at the big school level?
Oh, definitely. And, I'm still biased to think offensively for sure we were probably one of the most potent, if not the best. Statistically, single season, I'm pretty proud of what we were able to accomplish offensively, and I'd put my group of guys up against any of these teams that have gone on and had great success. So, yeah, very, very proud of what we did.
When you look at the quarterback litany at Carroll, and I'm sure I'll forget someone, but Daniel and McElroy and Dodge and Hill and so forth and so on, to know you were at the front end of that, that's kind of cool company, isn't it?
Oh, it's incredible company. I mean, this is quarterback U, guys that come here and play here. They're playing a great system, very well coached, and just the mentality it takes to have success here, puts you on the map for the next level, but also I think for life. So it's a great place to kind of get your feet wet as a leader.
On first down and 10 from the 16, handoff to Trey Sledge will get a couple of yards to the 14. Well, Chase, we'll let you run. I got one more thing before you get out of here. Let's call this play as Bowers looks to the near sideline. We've got 8:07 and under to go here in the fourth quarter. Dragons on top, 37-6. Johansson and Sledge in the backfield. East side of Bowers, high snap, but he pulls it down, gives it to Johansson, comes around the corner, 20, 15, 10 to the 5, touchdown Dragons. 16 yards on the running play for Jack Johansson, and Carroll extends the lead to 43-6. Pretty impressive drive, Kelly.
Very impressive, and just a simple give off the left side. Carroll not doing anything particularly fancy. They're wanting to give Will Bowers plays that are within his comfort zone, although that's a pretty expansive read at this point. But great running by Johansson. You've seen just bursts from him tonight. The 45-yard run earlier, and that was an impressive scoop for 16.
PAT from Cole Ramage is good. Well, Chase, again, thanks for the time for stopping by. Your old man turns 60 tomorrow. What are you going to do for him?
Well, I told him I was hoping he'd get 60 tonight to kind of send a message to Byron and to set him off right. But he's got the mentality of a 30-year-old, so I think he's got plenty more left in the tank. And, I'll at least get to eat cake and ice cream and, listen to him kind of get prepared for next week's battle. So.
Hey, one last question, Chase. Do you ever feel a compulsion to dump peroxide on your hair when you get to November, or have you pretty much gotten past that?
I'm hoping I can get some of that Silver Fox swag when I grow to his age. But yeah, I give him a hard time. I say he should use that to his advantage and not wear that cap. So it's a little wisdom over there. But he likes to wear the cap on the sideline.
If you get your dad's hair, you'll be doing fine at 60, sir.
That's right.
Chase Wasson, former Carroll quarterback and now a member of the Dragon Hall of Honor. Thank you so much for your time. Again, a lovely wife and a beautiful son, and continued success along the way. Thanks for spending some time with us.
Okay, thanks, guys. You guys do a great job.
Thank you, good sir. Chase Wasson down on the sidelines, and the Dragons now on top 44-6. Kick goes to Wyatt Romer, and he'll bring it back out across the 20 to the 30-yard line, and will be finally finished at the 32. And that's where Byron will have it, first down and 10 yards to go. Well, first and 10 for Byron from its own 30-yard line. 44-6, Dragons on top, and Hunter Meacham in the game at quarterback will give it to Perry, and the running play goes for nothing at the 30-yard line. So second down and 10 coming. Tackle made by Grant Phelps for the Dragon defense. And what good to hear from Chase Wasson. Good guy, and again, I saw his family today, and he did, a long way outkick his coverage, sir.
And we'd heard as much from his dad. Very proud of his daughter-in-law and his grandson.
Absolutely. Second down and 10 from the 30-yard line. Here's the snap. The quarterback Meacham. He'll bring it around the right side, puts it in the crook of his arm, and he'll get 5 yards to the 35 as he ran to the sideline at the Dragon bench. And he's finally tackled there by Sean Broadway. Comes up from his linebacker spot. Broadway drop him at the 35. Third down and 5. Clock under 7 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter.
Carroll getting the reserves in. Tyler Wiltshire in at one of the end positions, in on that tackle.
Big senior.
He is a big fella.
Yeah, he is. Now, they've got a lot of talent up front in that line. Jeter, Simrak, Doddridge, Cantor, Miller, Wiltshire.
And, that's really what sets this team apart, I think, from other recent vintage Dragon defenses.
Snap to Meacham on third down and 5 from the 25. He will surge ahead across the 40, and he'll have the first down out to the 44-yard line. A gain of 9 on the play. Wiltshire again on the tackle. First one there. Also helping out Joseph DeVincenzo and on the stop for the Dragons.
But when you look at the last Carroll State Championship team in 2011, one of the things that really set the table for them was the play of that defensive front. They were stout, they were deep, they were big and athletic, and this is reminiscent. The way that this bunch plays, the depth that they have, the ability to just rotate fresh bodies in and continue to wreak havoc makes it everything better. The linebackers play better, the secondary plays better.
On first down and 10 from the 44, pass over on the left side, caught by Diawaku. Immediately he's knocked out at the 49-yard line in Dragon territory. Gain of about 7 as DeVincenzo again on the stop for the Dragons.
So as you look at this Byron Nelson team, Chuck, you see a lot of youth out there, a lot of sophomores making key contributions, a lot of juniors, a lot of underclassmen. Regardless of what the scoreboard says tonight, and these guys have had their moments this year, you have to think this is going to be a pretty salty bunch next year and beyond.
Indeed. Deep handoff goes to Perry, trying to find running room. Cuts back from right to left. Middle of the field has the 45. First down to the 40 and knocked down in Dragon territory at that point. It's a gain of 9 yards on the play. First guy there, DeVincenzo. Also David Spittler in there. That's Eric's brother. Heard him on the pregame show 2 or 3 weeks ago. Yep. So So that'll be first down and 10 for Byron. Again, 44-6, Dragons leading in the game.
And the band playing Hey Baby, which is pretty much your sign. The dagger has been administered.
Under 5 minutes, clock running. No particular hurry to get this play off. Hunter Meacham, the quarterback, takes the shotgun snap, hands it to Perry, who sweeps around the right end. He will get inside the 40-yard line, get down to the 37, gain of about 3 on the play. Dragons and Bell next week from Pennington Field in Bedford. We'll be on the air at 6:30 for that one.
Our annual trip to Pennington.
I like that place. They treat us right.
It just feels historic when you go in.
Oh, that's because it was the original.
There.
Yeah, it was the original. I mean, back when they started building great high school stadiums, that one was the place. Everybody wanted to play at Pennington Field. Caleb Woodard is now in the game at quarterback. Beg your pardon, at running back for Byron is the snap to Meacham, and he's going to air it out deep on the right side down around the 5-yard line. It's incomplete as Mondumbo is the intended receiver. Hayes was in the coverage for the Dragons. So again, Woodard in the backfield. Hunter Meacham is the quarterback as they continue to run through some of the progressions here. Well, this was not the night that Coach Travis Pride had in mind. Pride with a 67-53 record overall, 2-5 at Byron, just taking over a program that, you know, really, Kelly, it's only, 7 years old, started in 2010.
But already 3 playoff appearances at,
Yep.
then the 4A and 5A level. And when he took the job, he was clear. I don't need to rebuild. There's not a whole lot that I need to fix. Nothing is broken. But what he saw in making the move from Mansfield Summit over to Byron Nelson was the opportunity to win championships. And part of what he saw was the similarities between the student body and the school population there at Byron Nelson and what he had here at Carroll.
3rd and 7 at the 37. Running play, Meacham trying to find room around the left end. He gets chased down and tackled. First guy there was Grant Phelps. It's really no gain on the play as Phelps had some help from Tyler Marsh, who came in on the tackle. It'll be 4th down. Yeah, Byron made the playoffs in his second year of existence back in 11, went 7-5, made it to the area, got spanked by Stephenville there, but then they made it every other year. They made it in 13, lost in by-district to Birdville, made it in 15, lost to Allen last year 50-14 in their first year in 6A. They're in the largest classification. But got a little something going there in Trophy Club. As here is the snap to the quarterback, Meacham giving ground, and he is eaten up and dropped inside the 50-yard line as Grant Phelps leading the posse for the Dragons. And they'll get credit for the sack back around midfield. And there's also a marker down on the play, and it looks like this play may be coming back against the Dragons, as they might have been offside.
Offsides, defense number 93, 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
And that is confirmed.
And that does wipe out a nifty defensive play, a sack for a negative 18. And Meacham sort of had that deer in the headlights. Look, you can tell he hasn't had a lot of action at this speed yet. When the pocket collapsed and the green and black came for him, he really didn't seem to have an answer. It was just go down.
4th down and 2, under 3 minutes remaining in the football game. 4th and 2 at the 32. Snap to Meacham, looks to the right to throw, has a little set route, caught at the 25. Mondumbo spins inside a defender at the 15, gets to the 10, still churning to the 5, and he'll finally be gang tackled at the 4-yard line. Pascal Mondumbo goes for 28 yards, and he had a lot of strength there at the end of the play, as about 4 Dragon tacklers led by Hayden Hayes trying to bring him down. Thompson was also in there for the Dragons.
Good leg drive, just moving the pile. Unfortunately, the ball was thrown at a fairly short distance, but the first Dragon in coverage plays for the blow-up hit, doesn't wrap him up, and Mondumbo able to get around that.
1st and goal from the 4. It's a running play. Meacham, the quarterback, goes into the end zone. Touchdown, Byron Nelson. Hunter Meacham, a 6'3", 215-pound junior who has the size, took the snap and went around the left end into the end zone, and Byron Nelson with its 2nd touchdown of the night. It's now 44-12.
And really not a bad drive. Nicely executed by the junior quarterback, helped, of course, by a big play by his senior receiver, Mondumbo.
as the PAT up and good by Tanner Keogh. 44-13 the score. The Dragons will get it back, run a few more plays, and this one will be in the books, and they can look ahead to next week. Again, the Dragons going to have to do some reshuffling of the deck as they have lost star defender Robert Barnes. And we won't speculate on the length of the injury, but from what it was, it looks like it be one
won't
be
be
tough to come back
practicing on
from.
Monday.
Yeah, that's for sure. Is the kickoff fielded by the Dragons' Ben Lehman, and he will bring it back up from the 15, out beyond the 25, out to the 27-yard line, and it will be 1st and 10 at that point. Here's the snap to the quarterback Bowers, and he will hand it off to the running back Tavion Gould, who is seeing his first action. Goes for no gain on the play. Coming down on 2 minutes to go here in the football game. So they will hand it off once again to Gould, and on 2nd and 10 we'll get to the 27, 4 yards out near the 31.
Kendrick Williams Green. 3rd down.
To Gould. He bounces outside right, gets to the 30, 35, 40, out to the 50-yard line, and he's out of bounds in Byron Nelson territory, down around the 48. As Julian Spencer is the one that bumps him out, 22 yards on the running play. So we're down to 54 seconds to go.
Carroll just continues to pile up the yards on the ground. It was pretty well known coming in they would be able to run the ball on Byron Nelson, but Carroll has done a very good job with the rushing attack tonight.
Bowers looks to the sideline as they put the clock back in motion, down to 40 seconds to go. Depending on how this play goes, it could be the last one of the game. As the snap to Bowers, and he will hand it off, and again Gould will crash ahead inside the 45, down to the 40, give him 7 yards. As we are down to 0 on the clock, and the Carroll Dragons improved to 7-1 on the year. The final score tonight, Carroll 44 and Byron Nelson 13.